live here from Chicagoland Speedway, a place that we've not seen in a long time, actually. Here, we got the InThePitsNews Truck Series drivers for the InThePitsNews 225. I'm Josh Coppernoll. I'm joined in the booth by Adam Kuhn. How you doing, Adam?
Doing good again tonight, Josh. Excited to be once again here in the booth with you tonight. JCTV, as always, excited for another race tonight here.
Yeah, these guys just keep putting on great shows time after time. We saw last week at Iowa short track with only one caution, and it wasn't for incident. It was just for the stage break, and Jason Gracias absolutely dominated that race. He's not in it tonight, but different kind of style of racing tonight. 1.5 miles. What's different about this track than others, Adam?
Well, right out of the bat, compared to all the rest of the mile and a half, is the shape. It's completely SoCo, no straight whatsoever. We mentioned this a bit last week. Back straightaway curves the entire time, racing down it. And the front stretch, of course, has the tri-oval, so it's a very unique set of corners here, I should say. You kind of never really have a resting break around this racetrack, and it's going to play a lot of factors, especially exiting the corners coming onto the straightaways tonight.
It's kind of unique to have that straightaway that isn't quite so straight. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how that's going to affect these drivers. I know there were some people that weren't necessarily looking forward to this race, even though it is 1.5 miles, and we've seen we're talking about the same drivers that look forward to going to these 1.5 miles, so we see run up front. So definitely interested to see how it's going to play out for some of the guys. Cameron Caldwell sitting P2. I know he was one that was not really looking forward at coming here to Chicagoland, but like I just said, sitting P2, so not too bad for the 12 truck. One of the things that we usually do is interview last week's winner, but like I said, Jason Gracias, he's not here tonight. Kind of opens up the door a little bit for us to interview someone. I think we might do a couple of interviews. We got about 10 minutes before qualifying starts. On the ticker, you see a different number. That is incorrect. We do not have just under 17 minutes left. It is 11 minutes left of practice before the qualifying. But you know what? We were talking about interviewing Justin Durand. I definitely want to interview him, but I also want to bring in Cameron Caldwell. So let's go ahead and bring in driver of the 12. Hey Cam, it's Josh up the booth. Got me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, so we're here at Chicagoland Speedway. I know you were talking about this being a track that you weren't exactly looking forward to coming to, despite the fact that it is 1.5 miles. What is different about this track that really made it to where you weren't wanting to come here as opposed to other tracks very similar to this one?
It's just a super worn out surface, and it just kind of doesn't play into my driving style because you have to lift a lot more than I feel like I like to, I guess. But I don't know. This practice, it's kind of made me feel better about my speed here. You're able to stay wide open a lot longer than I thought you could. So, and all the lanes seem to work really well on the long run. So it's going to be a good race. A lot moving around. But, yeah, I'm feeling a lot better than I was a few weeks ago.
So, do you think, we saw last week at a short track, no cautions for incident. Do you think we're going to see the same tonight? Just all green flag other than the stage caution?
I don't know. It could definitely go green. Or I could see it or I could see that definitely means some cautions. The step is pretty loose on the first few laps of the run, especially in 3 and 4, on the first lap of the run. And so I don't think a whole lot of us have gotten a run in, like a full pack, really. So I think especially that first run is going to be a little bit of an unknown for a little while. But, these guys are really talented, as we've seen this season. So I could definitely see it going caution-free.
All right, we'll let you get back up in there with your teammates, and maybe we'll talk to you a little bit later on.
All right, thanks, guys.
That was Cameron Caldwell, driver 12, machined. Let's go ahead and talk to Justin Moran next in the 20. Let's see if I can get him dialed up here. Hey Justin, it's Josh up the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how's it going?
Hey, you got your first top 5 last week. You've been looking really good overall. Currently sitting pretty good in practice times, or actually, I'm sorry that I was looking at the wrong Durand. You're sitting 14th in practice times, but still have been looking good regardless. Come here to Chicagoland Speedway. What's it gonna take for you to get it done? Are you gonna ride on some of the momentum from last week?
Well, I mean, that always carries over. I think the big thing is honestly tire management. I just think you can full throttle this thing for 15, 20 laps. So I wonder if people are going to be trying to do that to get the stage points and potentially burning their tires. And it's just going to be a long run game. Hopefully it's another clean race like last week at Iowa. Looking forward to it though.
Talking about tire strategy, like you said, you can run quite a bit of laps wide open, but is that going to be kind of the game plan tonight, or are you going to be a little bit more on a conservative side trying to save those tires?
I think I'm going to go with that route. I just think this league has actually been pretty clean, so we get a lot of good green flag runs. And so, like I said, saving those tires, having that long run speed is going to be real key tonight.
All right, well, we'll let you get back up in there with your teammates. Good luck to you. Maybe we'll talk to you a little bit later.
All right, hope to see you guys soon.
That was driver the number 20, Justin Durand, currently sitting P14. So, as you guys are used to seeing, 2 Durands, they are brothers. Justin Durand, driver the 20. Machine. See him currently in the number 1 pit box. That will change once qualifying happens, unless Justin does get the pole, but Adam, we saw Zach Probst start on the pole last week. He also led practice rather, and unfortunately couldn't sweep the race, but he is sitting P13, or P3 rather, excuse me, P3. What do you think? What do you think's going to happen with Probst tonight?
Well, just by judging off that lap time here in practice, hopefully pretty solid. We've seen him this season actually last season too, tons of speed, but he just can't get the results together. Last week he was able to get a decent race underneath him, like you mentioned, pretty solid night going into the main event, but 6th place finish overall. So I think he can be top 10 contender tonight, Josh. I really think he can contest for the win. He just needs to keep the truck underneath him and have a solid finish, not get caught up in anyone else's mess, and just try to be at the right time at the right place is something he's had a hard time doing, unfortunately, in the series.
Yeah, Probst, he is very strong. He is a great driver, great race car driver. he has the potential to be in victory lane. He just has not had the finishes that he's wanted to have. He has proved he knows how to get it done, be up front. Just has yet to claim that victory, but Probst, he's definitely one to watch out for. Michael Kruger sitting P1.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention him actually. Fastest in the lap times. You think he wants to win really, really bad. He won Daytona, obviously, so that's great and all, but it's Daytona, you know, Josh? Like, you kind of get that connotation like anyone can win it, so you kind of doubt yourself. And California, he was so close to the win, got bumped by his teammate in the last corner. You think he's motivated to get a win on a track kind of like this?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Michael Kruger wants to get himself another win, and at a track that isn't a Daytona or Talladega. I mean, obviously, if we go to Talladega and Kruger wins, it's not going to be any less of a win than if he were to win here tonight. Drivers, they want to win races, but they also want to win at anywhere they go. You don't just go to a race like Chicagoland and go, yeah, I'm okay with finishing 5th or 2nd. I already have a win. No, Kruger wants to win tonight, as well as any other week. He is currently P1 on the board for practice, and we'll see how he does later on in the race.
Yeah, hopefully he puts together a solid finish here tonight. I remember at well, only mile and a half on the season so far at Charlotte, he was pretty strong, but he just abused the tires, as we heard Justin talk about. He was playing the short game. He got stage points, but then it hurt him in the long run, and he didn't score a top 10 run because of that. Hopefully he'll be able to get this entire race underneath him tonight, and it's a little bit longer race tonight than it was at Charlotte.
Yeah, 225 miles is the distance tonight. A little bit longer of a distance, like you said. Should be a pretty good race, I imagine. Track temp is 78 degrees. Air temp 76, so a little bit of a cooler track with winds blowing at 8 miles an hour. Partly cloudy. That's what the drivers will be dealing with tonight. We got 1 minute left to practice. So, you know what that means, Adam. I want to know, who's your pick to win tonight?
We'll go to the guy you talked to top of the show. Cam Caldwell finished 2nd in the mile and a half, the only mile and a half, like I mentioned, this season at Charlotte. You mentioned when you talked to him that he wasn't looking forward to this race, but 2nd on the time charts, I think that's enough said for him. And tonight might be a statement race for him after a rough go, in his terms at least, for this season.
I'm going to go with the other guy we talked to, and that is Justin Rand. Currently P15 on the practice charts, but I think Justin has what it takes to get it done tonight. JCTV qualifying is starting. We got Zach Probst. Actually, it is going to be Cameron Caldwell out there first. See there, Caldwell running the high line through 3 and 4. He's going to take the green flag for qualifying, JCTV qualifying. Still running the high line in that 4th groove. See if he continues to run the high line on a second lap. I imagine he's going to come all the way down to the bottom. He goes all the way down on the apron, uses as much of it as he possibly can to take his first lap. Now he's all the way down at the bottom from 1 and 2 at the white line. Got off of it, I think maybe a little bit too early, but that's just him rolling into the gas, which may be the difference there.
Yeah, we saw the margin so tight in practice. There really is not much room for error here in this qualifying session.
Caldwell with a 30.92.
It was a big pickup on the second lap.
See here, Brett Bennett just took over second position. And Zach Probst actually just took the top spot. Bennett slows down. Dawson Allen crosses the line for his second lap. Proves to 7th position so far. Joseph Lester taking green flag. Running a different line. Different manufacturer for Lester tonight. Been running the Toyota all season long. Here in the Ford tonight. P7. 30.9. Mike Kruger on his up to speed lap. Taking the green flag, and I'm noticing everybody's getting down on that apron, using all of it as possible there, crossing the line. Actually, Kruger, it was not his get up to speed lap, that was his first lap, currently P18. Sliding up a little bit through 3 and 4. Once again, down all the way on that apron. P7 out of Kruger. Now Caleb McCurry, who's P18, up to P16, 31.06. I believe that's gonna do it. There is no other activity on track. So it looks like Zach Probst gonna get himself back-to-back JCTV Pole Award wins. Starting first at Iowa last week and first here at Chicagoland.
Absolutely big for him in that 62 team. We mentioned earlier, just outside the contending for the last playoff spot, so he could be having a big night tonight in terms of the standings. Could be a very big swing for him.
Take a look at our starting grid, our MartinPCE.com starting grid, starting on the pole. Once again is Zach Probst in the 62. To his outside is Austin Story. Starting third is Brian Haynes, and fourth, Jeremy Richmond, with Cameron Caldwell starting in that 5th position. Adam?
Lonzo Chicano, starts alongside him in 6th place. with Michael Kruger in 7th and teammate Joseph Lester in 8th. Alexander Kurf in 9th, and Noah Maori rounds out the top 10 positions.
Dalton Kelly is going to start on the inside of row 6 with my pick to win, Justin Durand, who is outside. Brother David Durand going to start one position behind in 13th with Dakota Knowles, who is outside in 14th. Starting 15th is Brett Bennett.
Caleb McCurry starts next to him. 17th is Dawson Allen. Next to Nick Dornick. Andrew Elias and Brian Smith make up the 10th row.
And Tyler Watermullen will start 21st in the 21 truck the 21 truck grid here tonight. So, as I mentioned before, Zach Probst starting on the pole. Second pole, that puts him with currently most poles of the season and advances him to better shot at trying to claim bonus $50 for most poles, presented by us, JCTV. Last season it did the same thing and went to Tom Bourne.
Before we get going here tonight, Josh, I want to mention lap 1 might be very hairy, as Cam mentioned. We haven't seen a lot of guys racing against each other here lately, so they don't really know how the trucks are going to race. We saw lap 1 crashes pretty frequently at the start of last season. Might see it again tonight. Hopefully we make it through clean.
Pace truck is in. I didn't know if it was going to come in that time or not. Green flag is in the air, though. Zach Probst gets on the loud pedal. We'll see here if he has a better start to the race this week than he did last week's. You remember he got on that apron and slowed him down a little bit, but this time he's not on that apron. He's actually running the line higher, and Austin Story right down, looking to the inside of Zach Probst. He's there just barely looking into the bottom. Going into 3, maybe a little bit tight, washes up, but separates now on the bottom. Austin Story trying to lead the first lap. They got 3 wide behind him for 3rd place.
Lap 1 was green, but just barely. They are racing like crazy trying to fight for all these positions here on the opening lap, Josh. And Austin Story with a big move to the lead, but they're 3 wide right behind him.
And now they are 3 wide for the lead, making 4 wide for the lead. Brian Haynes on the bottom. Are they going to be able to make it? They shuffle down to just 2 wide, entering 3. And man, that was tight. Austin Story all the way back to the 5th position. Now look at Probst going all the way down to that apron with Alonzo Chicano to his outside.
Alonso has used that top lane all race in just the 2 laps it's been to go from, 6th place to the lead, and he just swung by Zach Probst easily there. How about Brian Haynes, as you mentioned a lap ago, with a huge move on the back? He's settling in for a battle for 3rd right now.
And Joseph Lester is underneath Zach Probst, trying to take 3rd and 2nd place and have his sights set on that leader. And I'm telling you, every single week, Chicano and Lester battle. And I think it's not going to be any different tonight between the 2 drivers.
And every time it happens, it almost seems like they have to do it for passing a bunch of trucks. There wasn't that many tonight, but they still came from further back in the field from when they wanted, and they made quick work of those top 5 ahead of them. And Lester's just eating up his draft down that front straightaway, trying to find a way around him as they enter turn 1 now. He's looking higher than Chicano, but can't do anything yet through 1 and 2.
Doing a great job is Lester. And look at Kruger. Kruger up there. He started 7th position. He was just in 5th at the line last time. He's up to 3rd now. Michael Kruger making moves. He's underneath Brian Haynes in that 86. I think the biggest thing that surprises me, Adam, is that 23 truck led the first lap, started on the outside pole, and currently P6. And that madness happened all around him. He just kind of dropped, and I don't think he's been wanting to be aggressive to get back up there. Just let the truck come to him, and he's got a full hornet's nest all around him with Jeremy Richmond now looking underneath. Austin Story going in turn 3.
Well, Joseph Lester drove underneath Chicano last lap into 1, and they've been side by side for the lead for almost an entire lap. Now Chicano's clear of him down the front straightaway. Brian Haynes peeking on the outside of the four track now for position, Josh. But what a battle there for Lester there last lap. He's going on it again here. The backstretch can't quite on Chicano. 3 wide from Cam Caldwell now.
Cameron Caldwell, as you said, 3 wide, driving it in there pretty deep. He makes his stick. He might clear Lester. He almost did. I think he did for a split second. They're still 3 wide down the front stretch. Now Alonso Chicano trying to figure out which line he wants to be in. Almost like he's blocking lines at Daytona or Talladega, as real NASCAR is at this week. Down in Alabama.
Truck had a huge moment in the center of the corner. Excuse me, Josh. He had a lift, and that just bogged down the 42 and Ford trucks really bad, though, down the back straightaway. And Jeremy Richmond taking big advantage of it.
And Jeremy Richmond back there underneath Michael Kruger and Joseph Lester. Austin Story trying to make some moves once again underneath teammate and friend, and now trying to push the 3 wide with Richmond and Lester.
Story took a very shallow entry to the corner. He might pay that price on exit because of that, and indeed he does. But very awkward entrance to the corner, and you see he's not going to be able to keep up with either of those trucks because of that.
Adam, I don't know if I've ever seen as much 3 wide action as we've already seen. Just 10 laps down on lap 11 in this race. We do have a battle for the lead, though, up front. Brian Haynes to the outside of Alonso Chicano. Alonso, he's been really committed to that bottom line since he's gotten to the lead. Brian Haynes sticking to that outside. They're going to be side by side, nose to nose, entering turn 1.
That's the lane Chicano got the lead from Zach Probst from on lap 3, I believe it was, that Brian Haynes is using to get around this 25 right now. Almost worked there down in exiting 2, but Chicano's going to send it off in the corner. They're going to be pretty even now through 3 and 4, while Michael Kruger and Cam Caldwell fight for third right behind these guys.
I'm very curious. How much is Alonso going to use that apron? How many more times is he going to get down on that apron? Looks like he's sliding up a little bit there out of turn 2. That's going to help Brian Haynes get the lead.
I was just about to say, he does that as many more times as the tires allow him, and that might have been the last time right there, because he paid the price for it in turns 1 and 2, as you saw, and as you mentioned. So he's going to probably stick close to that white line here. Yep, he's going to stay above it while Haynes dips down below it this time.
You got top 5 all single filed out under a blanket. I think that's the first time we've seen just single file throughout these top drivers, really throughout the entire field. Alonso Chicano looking high. I think he's just trying to keep clean air on that nose of the 25 truck.
It worked. He caught that 86, a lot there exiting 4, and he's going to have a look into turn 1 here on the inside.
Side by side for the lead. Nice dive down, arc into the corner there for the 25. Brian Haynes still strong on that outside lane. He's got the advantage by half a truck. Going into turn 3, still with the advantage.
These guys are going to continue to fight side by side. Alonso's going to take that apron this time, while Haynes stays all the way up almost towards the wall.
Brian Haynes doing a great job hanging on that outside line. I think Chicano's got it cleared now. Not quite. They're still side by side entering 3. Now it is single filed out. Brian Haynes drives it in a little bit deeper, it seemed like.
It was a very textbook Chicagoland pass there from Chicano. Like we heard at the top of the show, a little bit wore out asphalt, so you can change lanes and you can play with the track and let it come to you like Chicano did there and find a way around the track, let it come to you instead of the other way around.
Just behind this, we've seen battle between these 3 drivers, Lester, Caldwell, and Kruger. Caldwell, he was up there in 3rd position just a lap ago, falling back into 5th now. And I think he's got a ton of momentum losses. He's got a mirror full of the rest of the field. I was going to say Jeremy Richmond, but really everybody is there.
That's a whole clump of trucks right there, and they're fighting for the last couple points here in the stage when it gets down to it in 20 laps or so. These guys are not going to lose sight of that 12 truck because he is that last truck right now inside. So Justin Duran all over the back of him, diving to the inside. He's going to try and make it 3 wide for that 5th position. And now they go 3 wide with Dalton Kelly sweeping around that top.
Look at Austin Story just behind. He was trying to make a move around the 30 of Curfan. Wasn't able to do it. Now he's going to have to try to settle side by side Austin Story in the wall, as well as Curfan.
Curfan definitely hurt more by that than Story. What a unfortunate race so far it's been for Curfan. Pretty disappointing qualifying result. Finally fought inside the top 10, and now as soon as he does catch that wall, and now he's going to have to start all over pretty much here. With the beat up truck, it looks like he's having a hard time keeping good grip on that number 30 machine, it looked like there.
I believe Caleb McCurry just in the wall there.
Cam mentioned it there in his interview at the beginning. This setup is a little bit off for some of these guys. They're not big fans of it, and may have something to do in the fact that this track isn't, common anymore. So these guys really haven't been here. They're not used to it, and drives way different from any other mile and a half. So you kind of need to get back in the rhythm here, and with the setup that might be a little bit different. It might be uncomfortable to do so.
And you're also not really ever going straight around this track, as that back straightaway is a curve, as we've talked about. P3, Joseph Lester, right on the bumper of Brian Haynes for that 2nd position, and Michael Kruger right there as well. A couple truck lengths behind. Lester looking to the outside. It was a great move, kind of a late move there on the exit. Did a great job at getting there. And Haynes not wanting to get all the way down to the bottom, kind of running Lester wide. Joseph Lester's gonna clear Brian Haynes though and take over that 2nd position.
Yeah, Haynes probably didn't really mean to run Lester wide, but he probably didn't prevent it any less, especially with Lester running Haynes all the way down on the apron. 2 trucks on the apron down that front straightaway isn't fun sometimes, especially when you're in the side truck. Sometimes can lead to a crash if one truck tries to rejoin the track before the other, but they made it work, and Lester made a pretty nice pass out of it too. And see Kruger with a huge dive there trying to catch that truck ahead of him.
Alonso Chicano has been the fastest truck. And as I say that, Joseph Lester actually faster than Chicano and the rest of the field. The fastest lap in the race, though, actually, you've got to go all the way back to 18th position, and Andrew Elias with a 31.02 for the 44 truck. Not something that you see too often is someone towards the back with the fastest lap of the race, but Andrew, he's got it. Maybe he knows something that he can use later on in this race. Back up to 4th position. The battle for 3rd. It's Michael Kruger hanging tough with Brian Haynes. See behind them 3 trucks battling for the 5th position. Dakota Knoll, Justin Durand, and Jeremy Richmond. These guys, they're just not going away from each other.
Yeah, we saw this battle, 10 laps or so, and they've been stuck right next to each other the entire time, it seems like. And right now, Durand and Richmond with that spot, but Knoll has been right on the tailgates these last laps, and he just hasn't found a way to get around them yet.
Something just happened to Brian Haynes.
Yeah, Brian Haynes,
just fell like a rock. I wonder. See if something happened to Brian Haynes. Oh, he got the wall pretty good going into 3.
Yeah, and he got stuck into it. It looked like they were on the entrance.
He's actually lucky he didn't get the wall anymore. Right side of his truck doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, very easily could have cut down a tire or wrecked the truck even more. Or anything really could have hit it and then tried to come off and wreck the other trucks below him. So very good job not minimizing it. But you see all the momentum lost, and now he's trailing outside the top 10 now. And if he gets passed by that 45 truck, so very bad moment there for 86 of Brian Haynes, unfortunately. But good news is for him, the stage is about to end here in a few laps, so he knows he'll get a caution here shortly.
Our one and only stage break happens at the end of lap 38. We have completed 30. So on lap 31 currently. Brian Haynes, he's just trying to regroup. Currently P10, like you said, holding on just ahead of 45 of Dalton Kelly. Meanwhile, battle for lead is heating up, Adam.
Absolutely, Lester's cut this lead down almost half a second in just a few laps. And he really pulled away really fast from Haynes when he got clear of him and never really looked back. And here he is right on the back bumper, coming soon to that back bumper of Chicano, like you mentioned.
Lester's been doing a great job this race of keeping his truck clean, just hanging on there and making sure he has something for the end. One stage, stage 1 last week at Iowa, but he had a closing Jason Gracias coming quick. Lester has a chance here to win another stage. But he's got to get around Alonso Chicano to do it.
Yeah, and Alonso tied for second in the championship is going to do everything in his power to make sure the point leader doesn't get around him there for another extra point.
Alonso Chicano actually turned the fastest lap between these two drivers, 32.45 and a 32.46 out of Joseph Lester. Lester still hanging on there, just 2/10 behind. Really running the same line as Chicano is. See there, Joseph Lester starting 8th place. Currently P2.
Yeah, like I mentioned at the beginning of the race, these two wasted no time to get into these top 2 positions pretty much. I believe it took them, what, like 3 laps, Josh, for them to be both inside the top 4 at least? It was pretty quick.
Yeah, something very close to that. Alonso Chicano, of course, starting P6. Lester, as I just mentioned, P8 for his starting position. Lester losing a little bit of time there to Alonso Chicano.
He got mighty close to that safer barrier exiting turn 2. I think he's losing a little bit on his tires here, trailing that 25 in the draft was close.
I'm wondering if it was a result of Lester and Chicano saving their tires. Lester maybe opening it up a little bit sooner than Chicano, and now Chicano's able to open up the gap a little bit. So he might have saved a little bit more tire. Regardless, we're coming to the last lap of the stage. They are catching. I don't think they're going to get to Watermolen, but they are catching Watermolen.
Big dive there for Joseph Lester in the corner. Not going to gain real much there off of 2 for it to really resolve anything. He was probably going to try it again here in turn 3. One last shot for him here on the stage.
Both running the bottom line. Lester a little bit sooner off of the line, but it is going to be Alonso Chicano to claim the stage victory. And the caution is waving. So, Alonso Chicano with the stage win. Joseph Lester, P2. Michael Kruger having himself a solid start to the race, P3. My pick, Justin Durant, P4. Dakota Knoll, P5, and Zach Probst, P6. And that is the drivers in the stage points paying positions. Cameron Caldwell just coming up one spot shy of gaining some points for the stage.
How about Zach Probst? Starting on pole, was outside the top 10 by the midway point in that stage, down to 13th, I think, at one point, and ends up with the last stage point. I am very impressed he was able to get back up there.
Yeah, his low was 13th, like you just mentioned. So that was a great job at getting back up there. Not the start to the race that he wanted to have, but regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. He was right there in that Hornets nets when we were watching that earlier, that fight for those points.
Pit lane is open. See the drivers all going by. Alonso Chicano wins the race off pit road. Michael Kruger, P2. Adam, you want to dial up our stage winner, Alonso Chicano?
Sure. Hey Alonzo, it's Adam up here in the JCTV booth. How was that stage there, going from 6th to the stage win?
Yeah, I mean, everybody knew that they had to save their tires there, so they were running, very, wary of that in the first few laps. I just took advantage of it. I knew I really wanted to get myself up front in the clean air, and then just kind of hold them off, be able to dictate my own pace for a few laps, which was pretty much exactly what I was able to do. And Joseph, he's been fast on the long run every single race so far this year, so I'm glad we were able to hold them off. They do a really good job of taking care of their tires, so really proud of that.
Alright, good luck here, final run to the end, and have fun here.
Alright, thank you very much. I hope to keep my top 3 streak alive.
Good luck again, and hopefully we'll talk to you at the end of the race.
Alright, hope so. Talk to you guys later.
Chose the bottom lane for this restart, Alonso Chicano did, trying to back up that stage win, Josh. No stage winner has gone on to win a race yet this season.
And that is an interesting stat there, Adam. I guess I didn't realize that until you just said that, but
Well, we're only 4 races in, so.
very true. Alonso with the bottom, Kruger on that outside. Pace truck makes that hard left turn in. And green flag is waving.
Huge jump on that inside lane.
Yeah, it was a great job by Lester to get down into bottom line there. Now side by side for P2 from Durant. Let's go to
He's gonna have a
Noel.
hard time out there without that draft from Dakota Noel pushing that 4 truck.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dakota Noel doing a great job riding the bottom. Now look here, Joseph Lester to the outside, hard charge there off turn 2, side by side going into 3. Lester powers ahead, able to cut down all the way to that bottom in front of Chicano, and now driving away with that lead. He's got a whole lot of radius vortex in his mirror.
All those trucks in his mirror pretty much ran a different line through 1 and 2 there too, so even Michael Kruger all the way in 5th tried finding clean space around him.
Add Story and Caldwell to the mix. 7 trucks under a blanket right now. Oh, Dakota Noel around the front bumper of Austin Story. And we are under our first caution for an incident since I don't even remember what race was.
Would have been California, but I don't remember what. Very unfortunate for Dakota Noel like that to be collecting another incident. He's been having such a rough go this season, last season too, and he is towed back to the pits, so go many laps down, and if not done for the night. And a bigger crash behind him, looks like Noe Mayuri in pit road too, Brian Haynes.
So it was just those two at first. Oh, Noah Mayuri, Dawson Allen collected as well.
think most of No's damage came from that hit with Mayuri and Dawson. That was big contact.
See damage there to the 79. Dawson Allen actually was our in-race reporter tonight. Not so sure how he feels after that one. See if we could bring in Dawson Allen. Hey Dawson, it's Josh up in the booth. You got me? Hey Dawson Allen, it's Josh up in the booth. You got me?
I got you loud and clear.
Ah man, such a bummer there to get involved in that accident. You are our in-race reporter, and I'm sure the report right now is not a very good one.
Yeah, no, we're pretty much done for that. 5 minutes of repairs. And the front end got hit pretty good, so I wouldn't be shocked if it blows up later on. Trying to roll around. Yeah, I don't know. I rolling down the front stretch, I got called out. There was a wreck happening in one. I start backing down, trying to make sure the 63 has enough time to back down, and then I see a truck roll down this corner and nowhere for me and Noah to go. And me and Noah just got into it there. So, tough. Really was excited about this race. Felt really good about it. So, yeah.
All right, well, we'll let you get back up in there with your teammates, and hopefully you can roll around and still gain some points.
That's what we're gonna go for. Thank you.
Just hear how unfortunate it is. Well, see how unfortunate it is. Hear the dejection in Dawson Allen's voice. Being involved in that accident. To show you the choose cone rule. We missed it last time. Use top groove or the top seam and most of lane right underneath that. The apron for the bottom and most of or all of the very bottom is suitable. And let's see Lester and Kruger taking the bottom. Chicano and Duran choosing the top, as well as Caldwell. Kerfan on the bottom. David Duran, top. Kayla McCurry on the bottom. Zach Probst at the top. Noah Mayuri. Or, I'm sorry, that is Jeremy Richmond on the bottom. And I believe Brett Bennett on the outside of Jeremy Richmond. Joseph Lester is the control truck.
Very impressive way to take the lead on the last restart. But right before that caution came up, Chicano got to his outside. I think they were going to have a pretty hard battle for the lead, but caution got in the way. Let's see what they do this time. This time, once they re-rack him. And a huge launch for Lester again.
And all the way down on the apron using all of it. He does not want the big pack right with him. He just wants to pull away, and that is exactly what Lester is doing. Now he sees Kruger and Chicano side by side.
Kruger with a big send, and he's going to take that position.
Yeah, he does take the position. Now Kruger has his sights set on Lester, but not so fast. Chicano gets to the outside. Now powering hard in that outside lane. Lester washes up a little bit. Kruger stays down on the bottom. Chicano kind of boxed in here between the PBR JCTV Racing guys.
Here come the Duran brothers, bump drafting down the front straightaway behind these guys with Cam Caldwell. They're trying to join the fight for the lead. As they go single file up front for the moment. These two are side by side back here for fourth.
They are side by side, almost looking 3 wide. These guys are all affiliated with the same team, but between that 24 and 20, like you said, brothers, I'm curious to know what it's like for them to be racing with each other. Meanwhile, back up front, Kruger had the lead for a moment. Lester took it back. Chicano still battling on the outside lane there. See that slow truck on the bottom? That is Dawson Allen coming out of pit road. Kruger still powering on the bottom, all the way at that apron. Now going to use it. Kruger is going to lead that lap.
He's going to have to make a big dive here into the corner to clear his teammate if he wants to take this lead and assert himself as the leader. And he's going to do it for a moment, but the Ford might have to run on the corner to keep himself there. Indeed he does.
And both these drivers do have a win already in the season. They want to be the first one to get a second win in the season. Kruger doing a great job trying to hold off Lester. Bump drafting down the back stretch.
How about Caleb McCurry running in 7th? He's keeping up with these guys too, running that 29 truck just back of the shop.
Caleb McCurry started in the 16th position. Currently P7. Having himself a quiet night, but starting to come around.
Himself a quiet season, finished 6th in the standings in the Winter Series and missed Daytona, and he's been pretty quiet since then, running towards the back of the field, but pretty stout showing here tonight, like we mentioned. While these guys up front continue to race all over each other. Lester down to the bottom of the track trying to find a way to pass that 42 truck while he gets pushed down the straightaway from Chicano.
Lester had a huge move into 3 out of 4, clears Kruger to lead the lap. Oh, loose is the 42, Kruger. Holds it on the bottom. Didn't really lose much time though. Actually doing a great job. Make clear Lester going into turn 1. I think Lester's going to have the advantage there down the front straightaway, but Kruger drives it in pretty deep going into 1. Kruger with the lead. And Lester, once again, diving down to the inside. You know who is tired of seeing these two? Alonso Chicano. Alonso was one... sorry, Adam. I was just going to say Alonso was one that had himself a really good season last in the winter season. Battling for the championship with, well, the guy that's right underneath him now, Cameron Caldwell. And Chicano. He's had some strong start of the races so far in the season, but it's been these PBR guys. Cameron Caldwell underneath Kruger, trying to get the third spot away and start battling with the 4 and the 25 for that lead.
Chicano's going to be really happy running that outside lane right now, trying to take the lead from the 4. Remember, when he got the lead the first time this race, he used that outside lane on Brian Haynes, so he's comfortable up there, at least passing trucks early on in the run. Hopefully, that 4 truck doesn't slide like that into him if that's timed just a little bit differently, and they are kind of, looks like a bump traffic down that straightaway. Chicano got into him there, entering 3 it looks like, and he moved him out of the way, possibly.
And I'm wondering if that was a little nudge saying, hey, I didn't appreciate you cutting me off like that. Regardless, they're side by side for the lead. Chicano led that lap. Kruger and Caldwell still side by side behind these lead 2. Justin Rand right there in tow. It could be any one of these guys. Go ahead, Adam.
Those 2 running side by side, helping each other, because they're just staying the same behind those 2 running side by side. So it's staying neutral right now for the lead, because, well, now they get single file back there. Hopefully can run down these 2 now and make it a 5 truck show again, with 6 trucks with David Duran back there. Very surprised Chicano didn't clear the lead. Let Lester get back around him here, and he's clear out ahead of him.
Riding on board with Michael Kruger. See how bumpy it is. We did hear about the older surface from Caldwell on the pre-race show. See all the different lines drivers are taking. Most of them, 3 of the top 5, all ran the apron through 1 and 2. Chicano right there at the bumper of the 4. Joseph Lester wasn't trying to make too much of a move. I'm curious if these 2 are battling so hard and really eating up their tires, if this thing stays green for the next 83 laps, which is how many laps are left in this race. Could this go to someone like Caldwell or one of the Duran brothers?
Well, of course, depending how these next 83 laps play out, I'm pretty sure we're going to have to see definitely at least 1, possibly 2 pit stops. And wow, I saw that too. Huge moment almost for the 4 truck. Chicano's going to get on the inside of him because of that.
It was a mistake that could have been costly, but Lester powers around on the outside out of 2.
That was a very awkward mistake in a weird part of the track, but like you mentioned, keeps the lead, and he is clear of Chicano for the moment. Top 5 all in a row right here at the moment.
We're seeing, well, I'm seeing something. One of the drivers, actually Caldwell, before the race said he'll run 45, 48 laps. These drivers last came down pit road 31 laps ago, but of course that was under caution, and then we had another caution after that, so a little bit of saving under those caution laps. We'll see here, side-by-side battle between the 25 and the 4 still. Who's going to give? And Chicano runs wide. Maybe trying to upset the 4 a little bit. It didn't do much. They're still side-by-side entering 1. I'm telling you, this season, the rest of the season is any indication as to how so far we've seen. It seems like it's going to be the Lester Chicano show.
Yeah, and Chicano's just having a very hard time getting around that 4 truck. He's been on the inside of him, he's been on the outside of him, and he just can't get enough momentum to make it stick and cruise on by that 4 truck like he did earlier in the race. And he is not probably happy with his truck as he was earlier, because he's just trying to ride and save tires. But the way he's being hounding on that 4 truck, it definitely seems like he's trying on asserting his lead like he did earlier in the race and controlling the field, setting the pace like he talked about when he mentioned during the stage break, setting the rhythm. And 42 truck he's getting closer in on this fight too.
Michael Kruger closing in once again. Kruger has made a pass for the lead a couple times. Currently P3. Looking underneath the 25, Alonzo Chicano, not quite there, maybe washing up the track a little bit. I'm not sure if he just brushed that apron a tad bit, because he lost a little bit of momentum. Kind of fell into the clutches of Cameron Caldwell, who's now looking to the inside of Kruger. Still single file between the 5 drivers. Kruger able to pull out about a truck length gap between himself and Caldwell, who just closed it back in going into turn 1. Definitely see the difference in how they're entering the corners. Now Justin Oran entering a little bit deep underneath the 12 of Caldwell, side by side for that 4th position. Caldwell prevails. We're halfway through this race. 75 down and 75 to go. Lester leads at the halfway mark, Adam.
Yeah, and he's going to keep his truck as wide as possible to make sure he stays there. And these two, ooh, almost contact between Chicano and Lester there entering the corner. Excuse me, as I was saying, Kruger and Caldwell are going to fight for this battle for probably the rest of the race too, because Caldwell is just hounding that 42 truck, or was, until he had a very costly bobble off turn 4. And as we saw, Justin Durand took huge advantage of it. So now swap between those 2 trucks yet again.
Adam, look who's behind. Alexander Kerfan.
What a race he's had.
Kerfan up to P6.
Saw Caldwell peel off the pit road right there. First one of a lead lap drivers to make it down pit road. But as you mentioned, Kerfan got in the wall earlier, and he's up now inside the top 5 as Caldwell peels down pit road.
Caldwell, we've seen him start to become the first one to pit road and start the cycle. The 4-tire stop for the 12 machine, and currently 1 lap down. But as soon as this all cycles through, we'll see where he might be. He might be up to the lead. Back up front, Chicano and Lester once again side by side. Justin Durand hounding the 42 just behind.
Chicano has much more revenge over that 4-truck and the laps he had. But as soon as I say that, the 4 sweeps right on by on that outside through 1 and 2, and he almost cleared Chicano by the exit, and he does indeed. And Chicano losing a lot of time down this back straightaway. That 4-truck is going to dive it into the corner, while Kruger does the same on him. He was under a lot of pressure from Duran, like you mentioned. He keeps that spot for the moment, and Chicano's watching that 4-truck drive away for the moment, Josh.
Look at them all use the apron. Some more than others, but all 4 of them used that apron. And we got 2 drivers down pit road. It's going to be the 47, Brett Bennett, and the 20 of Justin Durand. I'm sorry, that is the 29, Caleb McCurry, not the 20. Justin Durand is still P4, clearly on the screen. My apologies for that. So Brett Bennett and Caleb McCurry. And they are off pit road already. See here, difference, all 4 of these drivers, Ruger in the grass, but the difference all 4 of those drivers were using on the apron, all of them were there. Ruger lower than the rest, getting into the grass a little bit. Dalton Kelly, the only taker this time by down pit road.
Gap between these top 2 has stayed about the same since we have a moment. Dawson Allen down the front straightaway. That truck finally died, and the caution's going to fly because of that. We heard him talk about it in the report that he felt like the engine was going to blow, and right on the front straightaway, Josh.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that engine did blow. I didn't see smoke.
He was racing Alexander Coffin last time I saw him about a lap ago. Oh, slid up. Ooh, Cam Caldwell got into him. Did the engine let go before that, though?
It did. I did hear the engine let go just before that, and that's what slowed him down. Caldwell, I'm not so sure.
Caldwell's gonna... Go ahead, Josh. Hold on.
See, I'm not so sure Caldwell actually got into him. I think Caldwell got great awareness there.
Well, this does hurt him a ton, though, because he is not in lucky dog position, just barely behind Andrew Elias, and he is a lap down the rest of the leaders, who have yet to pit.
So that is huge. Joseph Lester leads them down pit road. And Andrew Elias will get the lucky dog.
Oh, Alexander Coffin overshadows pit box, but it looks like Caldwell will probably get the wave around here, along with a handful of other drivers. Dalton Kelly was one of them, I believe.
That was a real close battle off pit road, but I believe Lester did win the race. Off Kruger P2 and Chicano P3. Let's bring in Michael Kruger. Hey Michael, it's Josh up the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
How's it going out there?
And it's been intense here. It's just been some hard, very intense restarts here. It's just all about jockeying for position on restarts. On the green flag runs, I really feel like I can run up front here, and I feel like I have a pretty good car or a pretty good truck to contend for the win here.
What's it like battling with the 4 in the 25 and even seeing them really battle it out?
I mean, it's truly a spectacle racing with those guys. I mean, they're probably some of the hardest racing guys on the track. It's nothing on them. It's just like they're such hard racers. I mean, it's incredible like racing with these guys and seeing how aggressive they can be. I mean, it's fun racing with them. I mean, like they're not racing horrible. Like this is awesome racing with these guys. This is fun. This is what I kind of drive. This is what we do, and this is fun to be doing this.
We'll let you get back up in there. Well, actually, you don't have any teammates to chat with you, but we'll let you get back up in there into the team chat. Maybe we'll talk to you a little bit later on.
Yes, sir. Hope you guys are having a fun time watching this.
Oh, definitely am. Good luck, buddy.
Thank you. You guys have fun up there.
That was Michael Kruger, driver of the 42. See the choose rule coming into play. A lot of trucks took the wave around. That's why you don't see the pace truck right there just in front of these guys who are now catching up to the pace truck. Regardless, Lester chose the inside, Kruger outside, Chicano inside, Justin Durand outside, Kerfan took the inside, David Durant outside, Nick Dornick. They've not talked about him at all. Currently P7 took the inside.
Like I mentioned during the pit stops, Cam Caldwell did get the wave around, so did Dalton Kelly, Tyler Watermolen, Brett Bennett. So they were back on the lead lap, and Caleb McCurry, so 14 lead lap trucks here.
Pace truck is in. Lester gets going.
A stack up with Brian Haynes and David Duran on the outside lane almost created a crash, and they were lucky to keep those trucks straight, while Lester with another good restart, but Chicano's right in tow, Josh.
Yeah, Chicano right there. Lester didn't get going as well as he did last time to really get an advantage. Now Chicano's going to look underneath, entering turn 3. He's there before. Huge power into 3. And now pulling away. Caution is out. It's Brian Haynes. Brian Haynes on the wall, and Probst helped Brian Haynes there a little bit. It started with Haynes getting into the wall. Probst really had nowhere to go. Got into the back of the 68. Haynes got back into the wall and went around. Very unfortunate for Haynes, who started off having a really good race battling up there with the lead. Got into the wall, fell back. Now 3 laps down. This does not help him at all.
Yeah, unfortunately not going to be the finish he wanted tonight. Something crazy happens here, but he's showed that speed at the beginning of the race, like you mentioned, and he won a stage at California a couple of races ago, and similar thing happened. I don't think he quite got in the wall, but the truck faded and he fell off and he didn't get a great finish, so unfortunate start for him in terms of the finishes this year, but very solid in terms of raw speed, and hopefully he can get it turned around on the luck side this season.
Yeah, we know Haynes is a great driver, fast driver, has fast trucks every week. He's on track. hopefully soon he's able to turn it around like you were talking about. Adam, you want to talk to Alonso?
Sure, got back up in the lead here. Hey Alonso, it's Adam again up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, you got back up to the lead finally after a pretty hard battle with Joseph there. What do you need to keep him in your mirror here for this last run of the, what could be the last run of the end, last 60 laps here?
Honestly, at the beginning I was just trying to let him burn up his stuff, and I felt like I could have passed him a few times, but the one time I got a really big run on him, he just completely blocked me down the straightaway, and didn't really like that. But besides that, it's just been really good, hard racing. I just feel like whoever is in the lead really dictates pace right now, so I feel like it's gonna come down to that.
What are you gonna do for this last pit stop here? Is that lip sealed?
I'm not sure yet. We'll see when the time comes. I haven't really had too much time to really even think about pit strategy.
Absolutely, rhythm hasn't been there recently. Good luck, last stint of the race here.
Alrighty, thank you.
That was Alonso Chicano, driver of the 25, currently leader. And stage winner earlier in the race. I believe we're coming to the choose.
Ooh, little stack up there with Michael Kruger.
Top
Top 3, I'll take the bottom, Josh.
yeah, and that opens up the door for Justin Durand, Kerfan, Dwarnick, all take the top. And David Durand. Go ahead, Adam.
One of the 42 stacking up the field a little bit influenced that a little bit, because it looked like he wanted to go up high, and then when he realized he was too close to the 4, he jammed the brakes, and it kind of created that log jam effect with him and Lester at least.
It might have, and honestly, I think Justin may have gotten a little excited there, seeing that these top 3 did take the bottom, and that allowed the top to open up. We've seen the top kind of struggle a little bit on the restarts when the leader gets going from the bottom, but regardless, Justin goes from pretty much 4th place to on the outside of the front row.
Yeah, the restarts have been really strange tonight in terms of who gets the better launch. I think it really just depends on following the leader, and I'm surprised that many people left the top open for Justin.
Base truck does take the hard turn in. Green flag is out. I think Chicano waited till the green flag waved. That is going to leave a hole open on the bottom. Whether or not Justin takes it is the question, but Justin with a great restart as well as Kerfan behind in that 30 truck.
Ran so close to clearing that 4 truck of Lester. Now he's going to be able to take that bottom lane. He doesn't. He stays right where he is and on the track trying to follow Chicano. Now let's do the inside off the exit of the corner, Josh.
Joseph Lester is there side by side with the 20 of Justin Durand. Gonna clear Justin. Kruger not quite able to get there underneath Durand in front. Kruger running right behind the line of Justin Durand. These guys are all single file, and hold on just a second. Andrew Elias is battling for top 5 position.
Didn't you just get the lucky dog?
I think he did.
I do not remember. Well, he was toward the back of the lead lap, he must have been, but that 44 truck is just went up on this restart, like you mentioned, up to P5 past David Duran. Wow, and he's not done yet. He must have fresh tires on that thing, because he is slicing through this field.
You know, Adam, I'm seeing he's on the same tires as everybody else, but we saw, or I mentioned it earlier, Andrew Elias set the fastest lap in the session. He still has that fast lap. Actually, that last time at the line was even faster than it was earlier. So he set the fastest lap of the session once again. Fastest truck on the track, making a power move on the outside of the 42 of Michael Kruger.
Yeah, he's looking on the 20.
Put Elias P4, as you just said, looking to the inside of Justin Duran. Justin may have closed the door there a little bit. Washing up. Elias there. They're going to be single file down the backstretch, but look for Elias to try to see what he can do to get around Duran. Duran runs a little bit lower, not quite at the bottom. Elias almost all the way at the top.
25 and the 4 have swapped the lead like 3 or 4 times, but I am just impressed watching this 44 truck. Put it anywhere on the track and keep the speed going. I don't know how he hasn't gotten by the 20 yet, but I'm impressed with him putting it in any lane, Josh. The truck's flying right now. It's on a rail.
Adam, talking with Andrew every single week, I know this man is going to throw a huge party if he wins a race. Even though this is sim racing, he's still going to throw a huge party if he wins a race, and he could very well do it tonight. 51 laps to go. He sees the top 3 right in front of him.
Really looks like a second win in that truck here tonight, but losing a little bit of momentum to those top 3 ahead of him now. See Michael Kruger to his inside, see if that 42 truck's going to get on clear by him now.
Kruger does take 4th position. Elias not wanting to just give it up that easily. Regardless, we look at the lead. These two, they're so matched. If this wasn't a fixed setup series, I'm very curious to know who would have the setup underneath their truck that would actually get them to a win. These two are pretty much identical underneath this fixed setup. I can't imagine the frustrations going on behind the 4 truck, frustrations behind the 25 truck, knowing neither one of them can shake off the other.
Oh, the frustrations for that 20, knowing he's faster than them both right now, but he can't get by him either, because there's so much dirty air in the way. His truck's handling the worst out of these guys. Huge send for Alonso. He's clear of Lester now for the moment, Josh, but I don't think it's over between these two.
It is not over at all. Lester looking even lower on the apron down the front stretch. Now right there on the bumper of Chicano. I think Chicano may have drove it in a little bit deeper there. That might give the advantage to Lester on the exit down the back straightaway. Not quite, as Justin Duran going to look underneath going into turn 3.
He peaked at a weird, awkward point in the corner that kind of hurt them both in the center, but you see them both lose time to Chicano because of that. He couldn't wash down to the white line and paint it like Alonso did, Justin Duran could, and that is. And Lester didn't want to turn down on him, so he had to run wider than he wanted to. And speaking of painting that white line, Joseph Lester, caught back up like that, just following the white line through 1 and 2. He's back on the back tailgate of Alonso in ring 3.
See Lester running just a little bit lower than 25 of Chicano through 3 and 4. Now following each other down the front stretch. Lester looking underneath, even lower now. Still not able to get side by side with Chicano. I'm wondering if Lester now just kind of holding off for a second. Chicano just started to pull away.
Yeah, I think Alonso alluded to it there in his last interview, saying the leader controls the race. We saw Joseph do this last one where he had like a 2.5 second lead, or not 2.5, excuse me, 2/10 of a second lead over Alonso, and it just kind of maintained there and didn't really gain, didn't really lose. And Alonso did that in the very opening stint of the race too. So it's just kind of the way the trends of the race is going. The leader kind of dictates the pace on the long run, I believe, Josh.
Adam, we mentioned not too long ago, it is about 45 to 48 laps on a fuel run here. Andrew Elias just handed over the 5th position to come down pit road with 46 to go. There's now 43 to go. Andrew Elias, 1 lap down, getting up to speed. We'll see here if this may be the winning move for Andrew Elias.
He definitely put himself right on the edge of that window, so if we do have an overtime restart, he is in deep trouble that way. But we haven't really seen... We did have that little spur of cautions in the middle of the race, but I think we're pretty much set on that regard. The only thing is he better not hopefully get trapped a lap down. I think we'll be fine with that, because he is the only 1 lap down at the moment, and not really enough lapped cars to get into that unless we are in a pit cycle again when the caution comes out. But could be a very good strategy, like you mentioned, Josh. It's runner-up at Daytona a couple weeks ago, Andrew Elias, that is, so swinging for the fences, like you mentioned, he would have a crazy party for a win.
Back up front, Chicano still holding on to the lead here. Joseph Lester with Justin Duran in tow behind. And Michael Kruger kind of holding on. A little bit behind. Kruger had been really faster than all 3 of the guys in front of him. Now turning not quite as fast laps compared to the guys in front, but Kruger's still doing a good job holding on. I think this is the calmest it has been between the top drivers this far into a run.
Is, I believe, the fastest we've seen the top 4 or 5 spread out here this quick in a run. But they know it's the last run and they have to pit yet, so I think they're just gearing up for that last pit stop. See Alexander Kurfin leaving pit road. He's going to go down 2 laps, making his last pit stop of the night.
.38 laps to go. This race still is anybody's to win. This has been one of the craziest races we have seen, Adam. I just, at one point very early in the race, in lap 1, we saw 4 wide. These guys, they just won't give in this race. It is all take, and we've done a great job, really, to limit the cautions. We've had 4 incidents. 4 cautions in total, with the first caution of the race being for the stage break on lap 38, at the conclusion of lap 38. going through the field. Alonso Chicano, he's been in every position from 6th to 1st and nowhere worse than 6th place. In fact, since he's gotten the lead, has been up there and not really looked back other than just battling hard with Joseph Lester for that lead position. Speaking of Joseph Lester, started 8th, 1 row behind Alonso Chicano. Led some laps. Currently P2, very heavily matched with Chicano. Could be his day to get his 2nd win of the season. Justin Aran started P12. Currently P3. Been as high as 2nd place, but so close to getting that lead, just hasn't quite been able to do it. Michael Kruger started 7th. Currently P4. Led some laps in this race. Was one that was swapping the lead pretty heavily with Lester and Chicano earlier in the race. See what Kruger is able to do come the end of the race here. He's able to gain any more positions. Zach Probst started 1st. He fell back all the way to 13th and worked his way up to finish 6th, I believe, in the stage that we had. Really hasn't been able to make much noise since. Did get a little bit of damage in an accident earlier. But Zach Probst having himself a solid night, P5. That is the top 5. We have had a couple drivers come down pit road, but Justin Arant, first one of the top 5 to make the move. Michael Kruger now down pit road.
And these two just do not separate from each other, do they, Josh?
They really don't. I think
well,
they are.
Coming in this time, I think.
That is correct. Joseph Lester down pit road.
Man, he looks sideways getting off the track and hitting that commitment line, though. Very squirrely entry, it looked like, for him.
See if Lester get himself a clean stop, but 25, Alonso Chicano now down pit road. Now here's the biggest thing I want to watch is where is Andrew Elias when Chicano comes out of pit road?
Yeah, I'm impressed Elias cleared Duran, because at first Duran was scored ahead of Elias. Something must have happened there, or maybe he just had the warm tires and just cruised right by those guys, because he is ahead of Lester, Caldwell, and Duran now, and here he goes right by Chicano for what would be the race lead, Josh.
So 26 laps to go. You see Lester now powering by Chicano loose on the apron.
Loose on the power probably down there, and he's going to lose spots to Caldwell and Duran because of that. But he has much fresher tires, at least to Elias. A little bit fresher tires compared to Caldwell and Duran, and just 1 lap fresher compared to the 4 of Joseph Lester, who is running down this 44 really fast.
That is the difference in tires. You see, we'll look here. It was 19 laps ago. Elias came in. We're 2 laps. Caution is out on the track.
As soon as the 44 got passed, he is going to be heartbroken by that. But Zach Probst scored as the leader. He was yet to pit, so was Dornick, Nick Dornick and Dalton Kelly. And Caleb McCurry.
I believe the caution was for Kruger.
See, that 42 truck looks like damage. He is not pointing in the right direction at all down this front straightaway, Josh.
Man, tough break for Kruger.
He is pointing to the infield, which is probably where that truck should be at the moment. Oh, it looked like connection issues with Nick Dornick started it all, and he got drilled by 24. Nowhere to go, really. David Duran just drove right into him, and that's why that truck's pointing the wrong way now, Josh. Big hit.
So, yeah, as you mentioned there, Dornick, a little bit of connection issues, kind of blinking there. Kruger wasn't quite sure where Dornick was, got on the apron a little bit, and that's what caused the accident. Tough break for the 42. Tell you what, I'm surprised here. Andrew Elias, P2. And unless if he has no tires left, I'm surprised he would have stayed out. And it might be the case here is that he has no sets left in the pits. And that is going to be so hard for Elias. I think he had a really good strategy. And with this caution coming out, when it did, obviously unfortunate timing because he just lost the lead to Lester. But even more so that, you know, if he doesn't have any more tires, he can't come down pit road to put on a set and maybe be able to drive through the field with everybody who just came down pit road and has had a couple of hard laps under green. You know who does benefit from this, though? Nick Dornick. Dornick is going to be P4. He was able to come down pit road this time by. A little bit of damage on his truck. Dornick, Probst, McCurry, all of them. They've got an advantage over Justin Arand, Andrew Elias, and Joseph Lester.
Yeah, all 3 of them caught a break there with that caution coming out. They were top 3 trucks pitted here under this caution and able to take that trip down pit road on the yellow flag behind the pace car instead of under green like everyone else did. So they're able to make up a ton of time because of that, obviously, and believe Chicano and Caldwell pitted a second time here under caution. As we see the choose cone here, a lot of people choosing the bottom again, and David Duran in third is going to take that top, take advantage of it, gain a couple spots, or at least one position there, Josh.
Yeah, and I expected Lester to take the bottom. I figured Elias would also take the bottom. Justin Durant, we've seen him take the top when it's been open. So no surprise there for Durant to take the top. And Nick Dornick, I was not surprised at all to see him take the top as well. Behind teammate Justin Durant. Zach Probst with the top. Caleb McCurry said he was having a quiet night. McCurry, he's 6, gonna restart on the bottom of the third row, so essentially P5 here. Let's see what McCurry's able to do. $21 laps to go, 20 to go. When they cross the line, pace truck in, Lester gets going. And Lester needs as much of a gap as he possibly can because he knows he's at a disadvantage with tires here now. After that cycle, Elias fading back. Here comes Justin Durand. Restarted on that outside lane in that number 1 spot out there. Durand a couple laps older tires than Lester, but Durand, you know, he knows how to get it done around this track, doing a great job closing in on the 4.
Jim Caldwell, out of those with the freshest tires under this caution, it went from, I believe, 8th or 9th all the way up to 3rd on that opening lap. 63, Nick Dornick caught the wall there through 3 and 4 last time by 2, but he's tail end of the lead lap now because of that, fighting with Tyler Watermolen.
Side by side, 62 and the 25 pole sitter Zach Probst beside the driver that has almost pretty much dominated this race, battling hard with the guy who is leading this race, Joseph Lester. Chicano with the advantage, head of Probst, now has his sights set on that 12 of Cameron Caldwell. Battle for the lead. Justin Durand underneath the 4 of Joseph Lester. Durand sliding up a little bit, may have gotten a little bit sideways. He saves it, puts it behind the 4, single file. And the battle for 3rd is on. It's going to be who can clear the other to be able to battle these 2 up front. And Chicano ahead of Caldwell, but Justin Durand looking underneath the 4 once again.
Chicano's going to go all the way to the top here and try to get around them both in one corner. Can't do it on this end of the racetrack as Durand bounced almost into Lester. And a huge run for Chicano is going to push the 4 by the 20. He can't do anything yet. He goes all the way up by the wall, Josh, and the 4 stays around that white line.
I think the advantage right now is to Chicano, who has the outside lane, but Lester currently has the position. Cameron Caldwell right there in the mix, as well as Dalton Kelly and Zach Probst. 6
Cameron Caldwell
trucks.
just followed the 25 through there, and the 25 did a crossover on Lester to go to the lead, and he is clear on entry. That was the cleanest pass the 25 has made on Lester all night. No contact on that, returned the favor. Lester moved Chicano out of the way there.
And if you're the 12 of Caldwell, you want to see this with the truck with the older tires over the 25, holding up the 25 who has fresher tires. Caldwell doing a great job trying to close them in. Lester doing a great job holding that 25. of Chicano. Still not clear as Chicano. They're still side by side. How in the world are these two drivers just battling like this?
I thought Chicano was clear and set sailed, but Lester gave him the bumper. Something we saw Chicano do a lot earlier in this race to Lester. And now, like you mentioned, Josh, they're side by side again. And I don't think Cardwell's really going to be able to do anything with them, with his damage, and get around them like this, because they are just two of the fastest trucks all night, obviously. And they just ran like this for the majority of the race. And we could see it like this for the rest of the running here, but I think one of these two are going to get really, really upset with each other and going to send it for the win here, Josh, if it keeps racing like this. And Chicano getting really tight on the bottom there.
We saw Lester move teammate Michael Kruger for the win at Auto Club just a few weeks ago. I'm not so sure. We won't see anything different. Lester right there with the 25. Chicano finally pulls ahead. Finally gets a few truck lengths ahead of that 4. 11 laps to go down the backstretch.
When he cleared him, I thought that was not over this time, because the 4 looked like he was going to either hook him or drive into him and keep the battle going. But like you mentioned, cleared and pulling away a little bit now, but Caldwell is going to be all over that 4 truck now, knowing he's got equal tires to Chicano. Maybe not an equal truck, but a little bit of a chance here. Coming to the last 10 laps, Josh.
10 laps to go in the InThePitsNews. 225 at Chicagoland Speedway. I'm actually surprised some of the trucks with a little bit of fresher tires over Joseph Lester hasn't really come up to the front and rised. Chicano, we did see pit, but I'm curious, did he have another set of tires?
Probably something we're going to have to ask him post-race, but it definitely looked like it the way he and Caldwell just drove up through the field. It definitely had the truck to do it, but I don't know. He's pulling away. This is the biggest lead between he and Lester I think we've seen all night, or at least this early in a run. And Caldwell is not letting that 4 truck pull away like we've seen earlier either.
And I think the difference is the damage that the 12 Caldwell has to his truck. Saw just a little bit, as well as Probst having some damage to his truck. That's 62 back there in 4th, now battling with the 45, Dalton Kelly, for the 4th position. These guys are all single filed out. Alonso Chicano. Tons of room between him and Lester. Coming to 6 laps to go in the race.
He mentioned he's got a pretty good streak going. The last 3 races, he's been in the top 3, 2/3 in a second last week at Iowa. Trying to make it a big number 1 here, Josh.
Chicano, he has had such a great season so far. For that win, though. 5 laps to go. See that truck exiting pit road. That is Michael Kruger, who is doing so well. Now 18 laps down in the race.
And then back out on track after causing that caution, finishing up the last 5 laps at least for his truck.
Zach Probst P4 looking to try to get P3 from Caldwell.
He looks a little bit faster than that 12 truck right now. See if he's going to have enough time to get to him and around him. Right now, winning the same lane might not help that, though.
All the way at the bottom on the apron is 62, Zach Probst. Still trying to see if he can get a pole underneath or to the outside of the 12. He is Probst. Just not able to do it. It's almost like a small bubble. It's just kind of holding him back.
Yeah, I've seen that as one of the biggest issues, I believe, tonight. I think he's going to run out of time here as we come to the white flag.
White flag is waving. In the InThePitsNews, 2:25 at Chicagoland. Alonzo Chicano with the lead by several truck lengths over Joseph Lester. Just under a second of a lead. Lester has been the fastest truck last couple laps, but it isn't going to be enough as long as Chicano has a clean 3 and 4 here. Alonzo Chicano. Great job out of turn 4. Checkered flag in the air. Alonzo Chicano finds himself in victory lane at Chicagoland.
Could be really big for him overall in this season, I think, Josh. This probably could be a statement win looking back on it, considering where he is in the championship right now. I believe he entered second in the points, so this could be a huge night for him in this fight between he and Joseph Lester for what could be a championship when it comes down to the end of the season, Josh.
Each of them with a win on the season now. It's Lester and Chicano. See Alonzo Chicano burn it down. Let's go ahead and take us through our finishing order. Alonzo Chicano blows it up at the line. But Alonzo Chicano, the winner of tonight's event. Joseph Lester finishes P2. Cameron Caldwell had kind of a quiet night, but worked his way up to P3 to finish the race. Zach Probst finishes in the 4th position after starting on the pole. Dalton Kelly, good finishing position for him in the 5th spot.
Justin Duran brings it home in 6th place tonight with Caleb McCurry for his first top 10 of the year with a 7th. Nick Dornick was 8th. Tyler Watermolen 9th tonight, and Andrew Elias rounds out our lead lap and top 10 finishers in tonight's race, Josh.
Finishing the only truck 1 lap down in 11th position was Alexander Kerfan. 4 laps down goes to Brett Bennett in P12. Michael Kruger, I think this is the biggest heartbreak. Absolutely had a great race. Finishes 13th position. David Duran, 14th, and another heartbreak after starting off the race pretty good, qualifying P3s. Brian Haynes, who brings it home, 15th.
In-race reporter, unfortunately, involved in a couple of incidents tonight. Dawson Allen finishes 16th after his motor let go. 17th in tonight's race is Jeremy Richmond. Austin Story, 18th. Brian C. Smith, 19th. Noah Mayuri, 20th. And Dakota Knoll, 21st to conclude our 20-truck grid tonight.
Let's go ahead and bring in our third place finisher, Cameron Caldwell. Cam, great run, finishing P3 tonight. A little bit of strategy there at the end. What was it like having that caution come out when it did? Kind of in the middle of pit cycle.
Yeah, I definitely needed that. I got trapped a lap down there, obviously, with that caution in the first pit cycle. And I was just kind of, my whole strategy was just thrown off from that. So I just kind of did the same thing I did the first run when I pitted the second time, and it just wasn't enough because, I was on older tires from getting the way around and stuff. So I need that caution because everyone in front of me before we all pit I had already passed it basically. So the caution was nice. Yeah, P3 is pretty nice after how that went. I'm a little disappointed. I feel like I could have done a little bit more with those two in front of me, but I just kind of burned my stuff up at the end. But overall, after being a lap down for a little while, it's good comeback.
So that caution came into good timing there for you. As you mentioned, did you have anything for Lester or Chicano, or just a little bit of damage that might have slowed you down?
I don't think the damage actually slowed me down any. It was just kind of cosmetic. I don't know. I think it would have helped if I had started or restarted a little bit higher up in the field. Having to pass a handful of guys before I got up there caused me to burn myself a little bit, but I needed that so I could obviously, have a shot at it. But yeah, I don't think I really had anything for him once I got up there. Especially once Alonso got around me, I knew that was probably game over in terms of the win anyway. I thought I might be able to get Lester there, but like I said, I just kind of burned myself off, so wasn't meant to be.
All right, well, who gets it done for you behind the 12?
So obviously my sponsor, or myself, C2 Graphics, I guess. First time I ran this paint this season. First time I've quote unquote sponsored myself in this league. So nice to kind of get a good run of my own paint. Anyway, thanks to InThePitsNews, Grid Network, C2 Graphics again, ACR Digital, Welcome Massage Therapy, Left Coast Rivals, RPS Marketing, Elite Performance Industries, you guys for broadcasting, and we'll see you next week at Dover.
Alrighty, and that was driver of the 12, Cameron Caldwell, finishing P3. I did receive word that we will not be able to hear from Joseph Lester, second place finisher tonight. So Adam, I'm going to turn it over to you to once again talk to Alonso Chicano tonight's race winner.
Yeah, Alonso, congrats on the win. Talked to you a couple times tonight and seemed like you needed to control the race there at the end, and it's exactly what happened. You got around Joseph the last 10 laps and cruised to the win. How was it there, that last restart?
it definitely wasn't easy. Joseph raced me really, really hard, and all I could do was just race him really hard back. But it was really fun. I felt like we both respected each other throughout the entire time, and can't have better racing than that, really. Just really want to thank everyone on Radius Racing for helping me get in that position and helping me on the restarts and all that.
Yeah, that last restart, you had to fight your way back through the field. What were you thinking there, trying to get around everyone? And did you think that was over? It was too little left in the race to get around everyone?
No, I knew I had the speed to get around people. It was just whether another caution was going to come out or not, because I took a risk just taking my last set of tires, and um, I'm just glad it worked out. But it was a gamble. I've taken a few gambles, especially on tires, before this season, and they didn't work out. So I was glad something finally worked out.
Is that tire gamble the deciding factor on beating Joseph tonight, or do you think you could have got him without that decision?
I mean, I think I proved early in the race that that I could have definitely gotten him racing 1-on-1, but the tires definitely helped.
Who gets it done for you tonight in Victory Lane, celebrating Chicagoland?
Well, I mean, InThePitsNews is the title sponsor for the league, title sponsor for this race, and just lucky to have him also on my truck here tonight. So, um, just glad to be running this really awesome orange paint and be able to win in the Pits News trucks. And I like to also thank the rest of my other sponsors like Celsius and Grid Network, and everyone else who supports us at Radius Racing. I'd like to thank everyone watching, and as well as JCTV for broadcasting. Appreciate you guys doing the broadcasting and letting our friends and families watch what we do.
Congrats again, and real quick, how do you think about Dover next week?
Looking forward to it. It's another really, really tough track. Feel like arms are definitely going to be tired after that race. We'll see how the trucks are going to be handling there. I don't know. I haven't really raced there too often here on iRacing, but it's definitely of not the easy side of on the track list. So looking forward to it. I hope we can have some fun there as well and compete for another win.
All right, congrats once again, and thanks for your time, Josh. Thanks for your time, Alonso. Back to you, Josh. Sorry.
Thank you guys.
Well, I wish I was talented enough to be in the driver or be in the winner's circle tonight, Adam. But yeah, our race winner Alonso, congrats to him. We're actually going to bring in Zach Probst for an interview because of not being able to reach Lester. So I have caught up with Zach Probst. Zach, you finished fourth. You started on the pole, fell down to, I believe, off the top of my head, it was like 13th or 12th, and worked your way back up to 6th place at the end of the stage. That was only 38 laps to do it. How did you get it done there?
Main thing I was doing was saving. First, like 3 laps on tires, most important. So I was saving hard those first 3. Then I started to push more as the run went on, and then just managed to have enough tire to get past 6th.
Ultimately, it was an up and down race for you overall, but you were able to finish fourth. We did see some strategy come into play towards the end with that caution falling in the middle of green flag pit stops. You actually had not come down pit road before that caution came out. When that caution came out, when it did, what was the emotions or the feelings like inside that truck?
I was kind of relieved that I wouldn't have to rely on strategy there, but I kind of wish it went green, because if I pit like 10 laps later, I might have been able to have enough tire and catch guys.
Ultimately finishing P4. Who gets it done for you? behind 62 truck.
I'd like to thank my team and Noah, my teammate. He did not have a good run today, but I'd like to thank my sponsors, V Speed and Glitch Energy.
Alrighty. Well, congrats on the fourth place finish tonight.
Thank you.
That was Zach Probst. Finished P4 tonight. Adam, that does it for Chicagoland. Where do we go next week? Well, Dover. We already mentioned that. What kind of racing do you expect at Dover?
I'm not really sure. I'm expecting a little bit beating and banging around that track, but I didn't expect that here, and we got a lot of that here tonight. So who knows what we see at Dover? A little bit of a shorter racetrack, obviously. So I think we'll see trucks a lot tighter together next week.
And Dover is a mile long, 200 laps, 200 miles. It's known as the Monster Mile. Miles the Monster, he likes to reach out and kind of grab you. It's also known as the self-cleaning racetrack. So I'm definitely excited to see how these guys that we see are just put on great shows every single week, how they're able to handle that concrete surface in Dover, Delaware. That wraps things up for us here at Chicagoland. 7:45 Eastern. April 30th will be pre-show for Dover. Make sure to tune into that one. Big shout out, thank you to C2 Graphics for all they do for us behind the scenes. Once again, everything that you see on the screen, as far as broadcast package go, is made by C2 Graphics and Cameron Caldwell. A lot of the paint you saw tonight, also made by Cameron Caldwell. Big thank you to Alonzo Chicano and Cameron Caldwell, the admins of the InThePitsNews Truck Series. InThePitsNews for being the entitlement sponsor. All the drivers, all the fans. Without you guys, Adam and I wouldn't be able to have the fun that we do every single week calling these races. And Martin PC, can't forget about them. All the support they put into the InThePitsNews Truck Series. Till next week, take care, be safe, and have a good one.